You were born in the 20s. They told you that you were the pinnacle of evolution. Spoiler, that was a blatant lie. Hitler Youth. Bonfires, songs, and daggers. You were taught to hate people you had never even met. Selection for the SS. They measure your skull with calipers. If your nose is crooked, you're off to the infantry, loser. The oath of loyalty. You sold your soul for a flashy belt buckle and the right to kill with impunity. Your inventory. What does a Superman need to be happy? 30 kilos of iron on his back and a sense of grandeur. The M36 tunic fits perfectly. Too bad Hugo forgot the insulation. By winter, you'll be a very stylish corpse. Hobnailed boots clatter loudly across Europe, but on Russian ice, you're like a cow on a skating rink. The Kar 98K. 5 rounds, bolt action. Your grandfathers fought with the same tech. The weaponry of your ancestors. The bayonet. For close combat? Hardly. Mostly for opening tins of meat and intimidating peasants. The M24. Pull the cord and pray. You have 4 seconds to throw that stick, otherwise, the mincemeat is you. The steel helmet protects you from clods of dirt. Against a Russian bullet. Only faith in the Führer offers protection. You'll haul this gas mask canister through the entire war. The filter inside has rotted, but without it, your own side will shoot you. In your bread bag, stale crusts and a photo of Gretchen, who's already stepping out with some rear echelon rat. You're doping, Pervitin. Methamphetamine in a pill, so you can march for 3 days without dropping dead. In the rucksack, an undershirt and a ream of paper. Boring to read, but it burns beautifully in a potbelly stove. Your Mercedes is your own 2 feet. The Blitzkrieg is bogging down. You're walking to Moscow. The Zeltbahn shelter half. You look like a spotted mushroom, a perfect target for a sniper. You're just a bullseye in a fashionable print. They told you that you were the elite. In reality, you're the fire brigade, rushing to plug holes with your own body. Are you ready? Pumped full of propaganda and chemicals. Your mother is proud of you. Right up until she receives the death notice. June 22nd, the border. A step into the unknown. Did you think this would be a stroll in the park? Mistake. Russian dust. It's everywhere. In your teeth, in your underwear, in the bolt of your rifle. You look like a sack of flour. The map lied. Russia is infinite. You march for a week, and the dot on the map moves a single millimeter. You are bringing freedom, but so far you've only freed a grandmother of her chicken and a grandfather of his honey. Smile for mama. The Leica camera. I'll crop the frame so the gallows don't show. The wells might be poisoned, but the thirst is so bad you'll drink from a puddle with a dead horse in it. Ivan doesn't surrender. In Europe, they'd be drinking coffee by now, but here, they fight with bricks. Savages? No, warriors. The first encounter with the T-34. Your anti-tank shells bounce off it like peas against a wall. Panic. And then there's the KV-2, a rolling fortress. It just crushes trucks and laughs at your invincible army. Only the 88mm flak saves your skin. If not for that gun, you'd be ground into the tank treads. You approach a knocked-out KV. Coarse welding. No aesthetics. But it works. That's what's terrifying. Lice. They haven't read up on racial purity. They feed on privates and officers alike. You scratch yourself like a dog. You write to Elsa, "I'll be home soon with victory." In reality, you're huddling in a hole, praying. Hans went to take a leak and never came back. The Russian sniper is patient. He's waiting for your one mistake. The forest isn't just timber, the forest is eyes. You can feel a gaze on your back. At night, even the SS are terrified here. We hang partisans. Put signs on their chests. We think it will scare them, but their rage only grows. The pills ran out. The world has turned gray and hideous. You are no Superman. You're just a tired junkie. Autumn, the sky weeps for your failed ambitions. The dust turns into a mud that will swallow your army whole. At night, steam rises from your mouth, and all you have is a summer tunic and the hope the war ends before the snow. In the rear, officers drink schnapps and eat chocolate. On the front line, you share a single cracker with a rat. Through binoculars, you can see the domes of Moscow. It feels like you could just reach out and take it. The greatest mistake in history. The temperature plunges to -30. Your fashionable tunic becomes an icy shroud. Welcome. Goebbels promised winter gear. They sent summer socks and wine. The wine froze and shattered the bottles. You stuff newspapers under your tunic. Propaganda warms you better than wool, but the paper traps the heat. Gun oil has frozen solid. Your reliable carbine is now just an expensive club. It won't fire. To get the bolt moving, you have to urinate on it. The SS elite, pissing on their own weapons. High technology. Even the tanks are dying. Engines won't start. They light fires under the oil pans. The army has ground to a halt. You stole a woman's down shawl and tied it over your helmet. Now you look like a wandering grandmother. Straw overshows over your boots. They look ridiculous, but they save your toes from amputation. You can't feel your feet. You pull off a boot, and the pinky toe is black, gangrene. Farewell, toe. The horse died a week ago. It's hard as a rock. You hack at the meat with an axe. A delicacy. The Siberians. They emerge from the blizzard in white camouflage on skis, like ghosts of death. Their PPSH submachine guns, with 71-round drums, work in any frost. Your Schmeisser is useless in the corner. Then, a sound that curdles the blood, the wail of Stalin's organ. The sky burns. You press yourself into the ice. Here they come. An avalanche. T-34 tanks in white winter paint. You realize the Blitzkrieg is dead. Hitler screams over the radio, not a step back. It's easy to scream from a warm bunker in Berlin, trading an Iron Cross for warm socks. Heroism has been devalued. Wool is now worth more than gold. The roads are buried. Your only landmark, a dead man's hand sticking out of a snowdrift. Turn left at the frozen Hans. We abandon everything. Trucks, artillery, looted junk. Life is the only baggage that matters. You want to sleep. A warmth spreads through your body. It's a trap. If you sleep, you never wake up. Get up. 1941 is ending. You're alive, but broken. You are no longer a Superman. You are a surviving piece of ice. Spring of 42. The snow has melted, taking the roads with it. Tanks sink up to their turrets. The war is on pause. Replacements arrive. Clean, rosy-cheeked boys who believe in victory. You look at them like they're already dead. A new plan, Caucasian oil and the Volga. The dust returns, the marches begin again. The heat is back. There it is, the Volga. Vast as a sea. It feels like if we cross it, the war is over. Naivety. Stalingrad. The Luftwaffe turned it into a wasteland of rubble. We thought no one could survive there. Mistake. The Germans called it the Rattenkrieg, the Rat War. There is no front line. The enemy is behind the wall, under the floorboards, everywhere. A rifle is just a stick here. Your best friend is a sharpened, entrenching shovel. You hack away like a butcher. You toss a grenade through a window, it flies right back. You're playing tennis with death. If you're too slow, you're mincemeat. Don't stick your head out. Russian snipers aim for the eye. They'll put a bullet through a helmet on a stick in a second. A single house on the map. We took France in a month. We've been storming this house for 2. All for nothing. A new toy, the MG-42. 1,200 rounds per minute. It sounds like tearing fabric and devours ammo by the bucket load. The fighting has gone underground. Stench, darkness, rats, and the echo of gunfire. Hell has multiple levels now. We burn out the basements. The screams of the burning will haunt your dreams for the rest of your short life. There's nowhere to sleep. Corpses make for excellent bedding, soft, and they keep the ground from feeling so cold. Habit is more terrifying than death. The Russians charge across the Volga. The water is red with blood. We fire and fire. And still, they keep coming. The tractor factory. We fight for every individual machine tool. Iron melts. People don't. Supply lines are choking. You count every single round. Single shots instead of bursts. A bayonet instead of a bullet. November. The Russians hit the flanks. The Romanians were stationed there. The Romanians ran. The pincers are tightening. The ring has closed. We are in the cauldron. The Führer says, I will save you. We believe him. For now. Winter again, hunger again. Only now, there's nowhere to run. The menu. Belts, leather, and your own illusions. Goering promised 500 tons of supplies a day. Only 50 arrive. And that's if the weather holds. We open a supply canister. Bread? Ammo? No. Condoms and black pepper. Thanks, Luftwaffe. Christmas 1942. We drew a Madonna on the back of a map. Instead of roast goose, a boiled boot sole. Silent night. Your friend died yesterday. You look at him and catch yourself thinking terrible thoughts. Meat is meat. Shrapnel in the leg. Pain. No joy. That's your ticket onto a plane. You're flying home. A lucky cripple. Potomac Airfield. The last flight. A mob storms the aircraft. The Feldgendarmerie shoot their own men to hold back the crush. You're inside. The plane lifts off from this icy hell. Below, 200,000 doomed men are left behind. You betrayed them. Germany. White sheets, hot soup. It feels like a dream, but at night, you hear the screams from the cauldron. Goebbels rants about total war. You listen to the radio and realize they want to kill us all, down to the last man. The wound has healed. Back to the Eastern Front. Summer of 43. The Kursk Bulge. The decisive battle, they say again. We were given Tigers. 56 tons of armor and an 88mm gun. An invulnerable monster. We believed in victory once more. But the Tiger has the heart of a mouse. The transmission breaks every 50 kilometers. We spend more time repairing it than fighting. Operation Citadel. The horizon is on fire. Thousands of tanks engage in a literal ramming feast. The earth shakes as if in a seizure. Black death in the sky, the IL-2. It doesn't care about your bullets. It incinerates Tigers with roof-piercing bombs. We ride on the armor, living shields for the tank. If a shell hits the turret, we're just blown away like dust. We storm the trenches. Calibers don't matter here. Knives, shovels, teeth. We are beasts tearing at each other's throats. We lost. The spine of the Panzerwaffe is shattered. From now on, we only move backward, retreating all the way to Berlin. The order, scorched earth. Burn the villages, the fields, the bridges. We leave behind nothing but desert and hatred. A new toy, the Panzerfaust. A disposable tube. It fires once, but it can melt a tank, or you. The eastern wall on the Dnieper. They told us it was impregnable. The Russians crossed it on rafts and barrels in a single night. June 44. Quiet. We think Ivan is exhausted. In reality, he's just reloading. June 22nd. Exactly 3 years since the war began. Ivan sent gifts. The earth exploded. They have new tanks. The T-34-85. Bigger gun, thicker armor. Our shells only make them angry. Where's the Luftwaffe? Gone. Only flying tanks in the sky. They hover over us, methodically pounding us into the dirt. Finally, the STG-44. The world's first assault rifle. Pure power. Too bad they forgot to bring the ammunition. Officers dive into cars and floor it toward the west. Hold the line, they shout from the window. We hold our heads in our hands. The trains aren't running. Partisans blow up the rails every night. We march 500 kilometers back on foot. The Panzerschreck, the tank terror. If you don't wear the mask, the backblast burns your face off. Dangerous for the owner. The forest is mined. One step left, and your leg flies right. We walk in the footsteps of the unlucky. We sprint for the bridge. The engineers blow it right in front of our noses. Our own side has cut us off. Swim or die? More cauldrons. Minsk, Babruysk. Thousands of prisoners trudge eastward. An endless gray river of men. News. The Americans are in Normandy. Now we're being hammered from both sides. The vice is tightening. The finale is near. Field gendarmerie, the chain dogs. They're hunting for deserters. No papers. To the gallows. You found a jacket and a cap in the ruins. You hide them in your rucksack. Plan B. Pretend to be a Polish peasant. Poland. Here, every bush shoots back. They've been waiting 5 years for this. The Warsaw Uprising, a knife in the back. Reinforcements arrive, old men and children. The Volkssturm. They gave them 1 rifle for every 3 people and told them to die. The radio calls it straightening the front line. In reality, we're running so fast our souls are burning. The field kitchen is gone. We dig up frozen potatoes in the fields. Eat them raw. The taste of dirt and defeat. You found a letter on a dead Russian. He wrote to his mother. He is just like you. Only he is winning, and you are not. Sign, Germany. We brought the war home. Now our houses will burn, not theirs. Justice. Yes, 1944 cost us 1 million soldiers. Army Group Center has vanished. There's a massive hole on the map. Silo Heights. Night has become day. Zhukov turned on 140 searchlights. We are blinded by fear. 300 Russian guns for every kilometer of the front. The earth has become a lunar landscape. There is nowhere left to retreat. Berlin is at our backs. The city where you once drank beer will now be your grave. Defenders of the capital. 12-year-old boys with Faustpatronen. They're crying, but they don't drop their weapons. Fanatics. In the battle for Berlin, 125,000 civilians will die. Women, the elderly, children. The price of a regime's agony. The flak tower in the zoo, a concrete monster. Inside, a hospital, a warehouse, and thousands of panicked people. Two tanks. Iosif Stalin. A 122mm shell punches right through a house. Hiding is useless. We burn tanks from the basements. A shot, a flash, the tank burns. But a second later, you're incinerated by a flamethrower. 2,000 Soviet tanks were burned in Berlin. Mountains of iron. But for every one destroyed, they have 10 more. Hitler ordered the sluice gates opened. Water flooded the subway. Thousands of wounded and civilians drowned in the darkness. We drink everything that burns. Schnapps. Industrial alcohol. A drunken army waiting for the end of the world. April 30th. The radio. The Führer has fallen, a hero's death. A lie. He just put a bullet in his head and left us here. A suicide epidemic. Officers shoot their wives, their children, then themselves. Fear of the Russians is stronger than the love of life. The Reichstag. The last fortress. We fight for a pile of rubble. Inside is a hell of smoke, screams, and Russian shouting. You see the red flag rising on the roof. This is it. Your war is lost. Iron crosses litter the mud. Medals men died for. Now just trash. You trample them under your boots. May 2nd. Silence. Berlin has surrendered. We emerge from the basements, squinting at the sun. Hands up. Out of 900,000 SS men, half are dead. The rest face Soviet camps, tribunals, and the brand of a criminal forever. Now you are building a new Russia. A pickaxe, a wheelbarrow, Siberia. You survived, but you are no longer a warrior. You are a number. 10 years. You felled timber and built cities for the very people you wanted to destroy. Labor sets you free. Irony. 1955. Adenauer has negotiated your freedom. A train carries you home. You're an old man at 35. Germany is thriving. Volkswagen Beetles, jazz, Coca-Cola. They don't want to hear your stories about an icy hell. Your uniform sits in the attic. Moths are eating the SS ruins. You hide it like the filthy evidence of a crime. The war ended for the world, but not for you. At night, the dead come to visit. Both your own and the others. The tally, 27 million Soviet citizens, 7 million. Germans. For what? For the sick fantasy of a corporal. You weren't a knight. You were a cog in a killing machine. Your loyalty was nothing but blindness and cowardice. The end. No Valhalla, just a hospital bed. And 4 drip and silence. You fade into the dark. Synchronization complete. The life of a Waffen-SS soldier has been lived. Result, defeat. A lesson, do not repeat.